2 letters, 1 word, the meaning of life. Yeah. How we doing? Previously on Kimba TV. Do you remember this line? This line has been shared on Discord for months. You can go back to the Discord posts from like weeks ago, and I'm talking about, oh shit, it bounced here. Oh shit, it found resistance here. Oh shit, it found resistance here. Oh shit, it found resistance. Oh shit, it found support. So for me to get bullish again, I need to see this get back outside of this. This is really big point of control, you know. Yeah, how we doing? All right, I gotta slow down on the Latuche. Gotta slow down on the Latuche, my boy. Akachaya! How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing, Lions? Akachaya! How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? We juicing, we vibing, we juicing, we vibing. How we doing? How we doing, Lions? Fogachino says, Kimba, enlighten us. Stop the music. Just a continuation off of yesterday. So again, everybody that was asking about how to do the gap play, all that stuff, congratulations. Easy money, Bugatti money. Remember when we talked about how if we open the gap inside the RTH gap? So just a matter of, I think really right now will be a matter of like how much of all the shit that we talked about last night actually clicked in your mind. You know, because now you have the RTH gapception, you're within the gap, and so this is your second 30-minute candle close inside, so you kind of know what it is, right? So most likely gonna, hit around here. Settlement and value area low. So if you're looking for like a long to work, you know exactly what you need to do. Sadarahu says, hey, Kimba, can I ask why you longed on the 100K strategy-wise? We talked about it for 8 hours, Sadarahu. So the first thing that I want you to understand, brother, is I'm not your typical crypto streamer, okay? So you have to understand, like, I'm not here to sell you an indicator or a course. There is no pressure for me to prove myself. Obviously, I love you guys, but having random people on the internet tell me that they think I'm a good trader is zero value to me. You know what I mean? So just like most things that I do, just remember that this is also data collection, okay? More than anything. Understand? I'm not trying to be like, look at me, I can do this. It gives me zero like additional value to my life if random people on the internet think or they don't think I can do this. If you understand, I'm trying to get people. I want people, what's the juiciest data that I could get? People telling me what they think, right? So, I'm gonna take this seriously and I'm gonna try my best, but you need to be listening to how I'm explaining stuff, okay? Imagine being the guy, the day after talking to me about why did you take this long? You know what you're telling me? I might want to counter trade your ass. Okay? That's the real juice. Understand? Because that means you're not looking at any of the data that I'm looking at. You're not listening to any of the explanation that I'm giving. I keep telling you this, but do you remember when I did the live depot? I didn't get to take the short, okay? I'm already juicing on a short. Okay, do you know how to look at the MEXC leaderboard, the tap bit leaderboard, the blowfin leaderboard? If you are KYC'd and AML'd on Kraken, you can see the Kraken leaderboard. I'm up like 2.2 million on the short. You understand that I'm up big on the short already? The long on this is, the first reason why we took a long on this is because I had to choose a trade to take to enable the copy trading. You see how I don't have the copy trading link? I did my first deposit live. I deposited the 100K with you guys, right? And I have no trades on it, okay? This is the first trade. So when I close this, I will be copy trade eligible, and then we start. Okay? So am I gonna short here? No. Okay? So the only trade that I can open, okay, to try to become copy trade eligible will be a long. I'm not gonna short here. Okay, if I had done the deposit a little bit earlier and we were able to take that short, then you would see the short. Okay, but if I don't take a trade, when can I copy trade? When can I copy trade? When can I copy trade? I can't give you a copy trade link until I open a trade. So to open a trade and to become copy trader eligible, between a long and a short here, we decided that we're gonna open a long. It's for 2 Bitcoin, for God's sakes. Okay, so if you missed all of that and you wanted to copy trade this, well, you're an idiot. And I told you, if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, or you're not even listening, then you're gonna figure out a way to lose money. You know? So this is kind of a tax on people that really want to do the bare minimum. I'm gonna tax you. Okay? I'm gonna tax you. Hopefully everybody is prepared, so you're seeing it, and you can trust the math in the future yourself. The longer time that you spend in a gap, the higher probability you're gonna do what? Okay? You want to see, longs getting stopped out and shorts piling in at the bottom. It's kind of happening, right? Is the low good or is it bad? All the same shit that we always harp on and talk about, right? You guys good? No mames, no mames, let's go. Juicy fruit.
It's over.
Juicy fruit.
Bitcoin is going to zero.
Juicy fruit. Hey, it's either this or this, baby. Ka-choy, 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 ka-choy. But I also have a 2 Bitcoin long too. I also have a 2 Bitcoin long too. I also have a 2 Bitcoin long too. It's got to be testnet, y'all. Hey, 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 testnet, 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 testnet. Fish sticks. Gotta be testnet. 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 Ah! No mames. Fuck you, whoever front ran me. Fuck you. Kachoya. Gotta be testnet. Gotta be testnet. Gotta be testnet. Once this one is closed, who wants to see the tap bit one? Who wants to see the blowfin one? Do you guys understand why I would let the tap bit short run longer? But you know I'm shaving responsibly, man. And don't forget about my 2 Bitcoin long either, chat. Don't forget about my 2 Bitcoin long hedge, my hedge long. Who wants to see the 800K Kachuya? Gucci, you guys Gucci? This is it. Like, we're doing this shit live. You got to stay calm, cool, collected. Everything's already been talked about and planned about. In terms of like all of this, what do you guys think? Spend enough time in the gap? You did, surely enough, close the gap. Do you believe? So patience, right? Single print, point of control, and then 886, and then SFP level. So, you know, patience and being, you know, waiting and, you know, Gucci? Y'all excited? Gucci, 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 Gucci? Yeah, and I don't know what, I can't predict the future, man. You know, but, so I did it in terms of managing risk on the shorts. I mean, I pretty much got like Pico bottom TP, right? So not too shabby. And I know how I'm going to take the long. All right. You guys good? You guys good? And we don't know if the long is Gucci or not, ladies and gentlemen. So stay safe. All right. Rooney says, brother, I got Pico bottom too. That's awesome, big boy. Yeah, I mean, we did it live. I showed you. And obviously, you know, you can track all of my P&Ls on the different exchanges leaderboards. So still got a little bit of the short left, but I'm also ready to long if the bulls can help me out here. You know, we always talk about start with higher time frame ideas and then work your way into smaller, right? So how many of y'all remember me talking about, oh my God, I would love a big ass pullback. Okay. I'm not afraid to long a pullback because so I can get into a big ass long. You guys remember that concept, that idea? Okay. Remember, you know, shaving the long pretty aggressively, almost pixel perfect. Okay. You guys saw me close a good chunk right on 886 just because it was only on MEXC. I mean, you guys know this, but it's on all the other exchanges too, you know? So that was on, you know, MEXC and, you know, Kraken, you know, closed out, Blowfin, Tapbit still running. Okay. How many of y'all were here for, okay, understanding that that's a gap, and the longer that you spend in a gap, the higher probability you have to close it. So that was your close. Okay, and then on top of that, you have poor and weak lows. So you identify the swing fail level. So that basically means for it to be bullish, you got to grab, and then you have to come back up relatively quickly. All right, and even if you do get that, you want to make sure that is a good low. So to be honest, for the first time in the last 36 hours, you actually have a reason to long now. It was more a patience test than a TA test. You know, you got the bearish gap, so you got to trust what you see. It's spending a lot of time in the gap. Well, it's going to rotate to the other side of the gap. You got to wait and see. Okay, well, now that we closed the gap, that's also bad lows. We would want to clean all of that. Okay, let's wait and see. Single print, grabbed, nice. Now you are above the single print and the SFP level. So, you know, and then you've got things like if it is going to go, you're not going to really have golden pocket retracements. It's going to just leave everybody behind. we're smart enough to understand that we've seen 8A6 to golden pocket rotation. So this is definitely possible. We also know that we've seen settlement and value area low be the bearish retest. So we know that he's sharing too much alpha. So longers, you got to be thinking that you may want to shave a little bit at settlement or value area low. The longer that it takes to go up there, or the closer that it gets to RTH market close, the less you need to worry about doing that. But you got to be ready for like a failed auction setup too. So obvious, if it is really, really bullish, it does not do a failed auction. It just keeps going and it blasts through. And maybe you get a bullish retest on settlement. Okay, but you got math, you got VWAP, you got the TPO stuff, you got fibs. I think you're good to go. So I always ask this, you know, every day. But what's one thing that you feel like you realized you need to do better? Or what's one thing that you feel like you did do better today? You know, either way, it was juice, right? I don't give a shit if you took a long there with me or not. I don't care if you TP'd your short at the 8A6 or not. Do I have 8A6? No, I'm going to be honest. I don't have 8A6. Okay, but that's not what I planned for, right? My entry is not at 8A6. That would be a little bit sus, I think. You know, my entry is right by that 93.8 on CME. Okay, and I'm not fulfilled. If it comes back lower, I'm ready to add. At this point, obviously, I have to put it as stop loss at break even now. So if it does come back and it stops me out and break even, then I'm going to have to re-enter at the golden pocket of wherever. Okay, but I took it at the SFP, man. You know, I wish I had the balls to take it at 93,100 like you degenerate 8A6 greedying motherfuckers. Huh? But you had the opportunity to do whatever. But like real talk, I'm not going to pretend like I got 8A6. I would never do that anyways. If I said that I had 8A6, that's cap. I would never do that, okay? I'm going to wait and see if it closes and swings back above SFP. And as soon as it does that, my stop loss is that lower low. All right? But that's it. And like, if you had no like bias about longing, it wouldn't surprise me if you pussyfooted. But I wanted this to have the opportunity to get into a big ass long before we go to 105. You guys remember like me, you know, bullshitting around about, hey, 94, 95, 96 long to 105, that'd be a $10,000 move. You know, and I could fucking hold the copy trading stream. I could explain all of this. I could, you know, tell you guys I'm not afraid to long. I'm not afraid to long. If you don't believe it, you're not going to do it, right? So that's why it's so important for me that y'all feel comfortable and confident about what you're doing. You know, that's really the only way you're going to juice. Because you don't want to be the dumbass asking me, okay, so Kimba, if I'm not in a long, you're telling me that I should long the 7.5 on a bullish retest, right? Kimba, where's the trident? So if I'm not in a long, where can I long now? You don't want to be that guy. Because if I get enough of you motherfuckers, then I'm going to close it out and start looking for a head short. But yeah, this is it. And I tried to tell you guys, but if it's going to go, it's going to go. It's going to leave a lot of motherfuckers behind. It's got to be testnet. Are you Gucci, Lions? Lions, come on, man. Somebody better be juicing. I'm streaming 14, 15 hours a day. Am I just wasting my time or are y'all actually juicing, man? Shumra says, so you counter trade your viewers. There are no viewers of mine if they're not actually watching. So let's be specific. I counter trade motherfuckers that don't watch. How are they considered viewers if they don't view me and they have no idea what we're doing? So I'm counter trading the non-viewers. Does that make sense? How can they be a viewer if they don't watch me? How can they be watching me if they have no idea what I'm doing? I have already emotionally committed to getting round tripped and stopped out. So if I come back, then I'll chase this bitch. Okay? But we're looking for things like how much time does it spend above the swing fail level? How much time does it spend above? You know, do we have the opportunity to break this blue line? Is there a bullish retest? Fibonacci levels, good highs, good lows, bad lows, VWAP, right? And in 6 minutes and 20 seconds, you're gonna have traditional markets close. Futures are gonna run for 1 more hour. So you could get like a really interesting RTH, no sweep of a sweep, derivatives, sweep of a sweep, and no RTH or ETH because CME is possible. Coley could get interesting with that little sweep of a sweep if there is one. But you got VWAP, and obviously you still have settlement and value area low. During Macaulay, the settlement and the value area low really won't, I mean the value area low, yes, but the settlement will not play that big of a deal. All right. So whether it goes up or down, we kind of know what to expect. Yes. CME is going to be paused. S&P futures, NASDAQ futures, all traditional markets are going to be paused. Macaulay Culkin hour. So crypto will be the only thing trading. Obviously, if it deviates away from price, where CME is paused, it usually indicates that it's more bearish or more bullish in the direction that it gapped. So trust what you see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, bulls are kind of running out of time and volume and value to be able to reclaim certain levels. You know, it needed to be a quick reaction. They're spending a little bit too much time, but you know, trust what you see. So give me 2 hours. I'll be back. I'm going to be with you guys all night. Stop loss, break even, tiny profit, and we'll continue to take shots. All right. How many people are going to be here when I get back? 550K or whatever realized on MEXC. Similar setup on Blofin and Tapbit. They just have their last little bit running. We'll come back and take a look and see how daily closed. And even if there is like a full rotation or some sort of move possible to go back up, it might be time to look for a little bit of a, yeah, so this might be a bearish retest, you know, the 96. Blink John says, can I ask why the golden pocket retest is no Gucci? Okay, I've said this a couple times. Blink John, just follow the concept with me for a second. Okay, Blink John, I know I am not saying that the golden pocket retest is no Gucci. What I want you to understand is, if it's really bullish, the domino pieces that you would want to fall, okay, is that it stops out all the longers, right? And instead of pulling back to the 7.5 or golden pocket, okay, it just keeps 38205 and that's it, and it keeps going. Okay, because a golden pocket retracement is normal. It's what's supposed to happen. So when it doesn't and it bounces at a higher level like a 0.5 or 382, then we can all acknowledge that it is more bullish than pulling all the way back to golden pocket, right? So that's the domino pieces that you would want to see, because if you stop out everybody, then why would you let people get back in where everybody is waiting to get back on the train? Okay, now what you can watch, Blink John, and what you can ask the other OGs and veterans about is the only times you really go back to the golden pocket is to trap the shorts or trap the longs. So you stopped everybody out on the wick, right? On the dump, all the longs. And you know the whole thing about how like the golden pocket, that should be support, I will long it or short it for it to be a bearish retest. Retail will do that strategy at the wrong time. So if they stopped all of the longs out and they're still coming back to the golden pocket or the 7.5, you might be looking to see if bottom shorts get trapped there, because that would be the only reason they would allow it to come back. So that's about it, Blink John. And I want you to just kind of see it for yourself, all right, brother? So, and this is kind of funny, man, like with this. Every retail is like, what the fuck, bro? You know, obviously the technical target on this would be the height. So, you know, you would do something like this, and then that's also kind of making you think, okay, maybe 92.2 really is going to get grabbed. 92.2 is an interesting level, you know? Especially if you see shorts coming in. Cause yeah. But I am not saying that the golden pocket retracement is bad. You gotta be suspicious if they're letting you get an easy long. That's all I'll say. Cause it shouldn't be that easy. Pretty dope ass day, ladies and gentlemen. We did the live TP together. So that was pretty cool. Pixel perfect. How many of y'all were here for that? Pixel perfect. I closed the last bit at the 886, so not too shabby. We talked about the short attempt at the VWAP. So bears, if you took that, that's Gucci. Shout outs to the RTH SFP players, the 05ers, the SFPers, the 886 gang. Tomorrow's going to be interesting to see which way RTH gap is. You got to go with it, right? Gamer girl, you good? XLR says can't lose golden pocket. That is correct. Yeah. How about this? You want me to kick it for 40 more minutes? You want me to watch the 30-minute, this first 30-minute, and the next one? You want to do that? But, you know, like, you don't need me to hold your hand through all this, right? So, now you know. So, next time, you don't have to ask about a pullback. And like where we're holding, right? And let's see what happens. It's still not bullish unless VWAP is turned into support. Okay? So bulls now have 90 minutes or less for me personally to break VWAP. I think we have a good chance to. But again, it's not my job to predict or gamble on what is or what isn't going to happen. Okay? So in my opinion, if this is going to have the reaction that I would want, then structurally and from a quantifiable standpoint, the VWAP should be penetrated and turned into support. Okay? If it can't do that, then the bullishness isn't really that bullish, because it can maybe do a higher low, but it still can't do a higher high. So that's completely useless to me, and the bears would regain control. So, you know, whether we were going to play StarCraft or Warzone, or I was going to do some other work shit, the next 60, 90 minutes, you know, if I was going to go watch a show with baby girl in the other room, that's how I would be looking at, you know, and timing the next couple of 30-minute candle closes. Kisoric, I've got Pico bottom long filled on that 6-6. Awesome. Is it all right to move stop loss to break even already? Okay, so that's a great question. Chat, does anybody want to take that? So Kisoric, actually nobody say anything. Kisoric, what does basic strategy say when it comes to moving your stop loss to break even? When would you do that? Kisoric, what does basic strategy say? So I want to start with, do you know what the basic strategy says? Now, obviously, when it makes a higher high, fantastic. So let's look at the 5 minute together and you tell me when you think it would be appropriate. Okay, so this is base. So like you have already breached the 0.5 and 382, right? So you're already doing this fib. And what you need to do is you need to turn the golden pocket that would normally be resistance into support. Take a wild fucking guess where you're pixel fucking off of right now. So everything so far is math. You don't really have a smaller time frame mathematical edge if you're in the long, okay? So there's two ways that you could look at this. One is, yeah, I already had this fib pulled. Fantastic, brother. So you know that you're supposed to turn this into support. Now you could do that in the form of 7.5, 0.5, and then you'd flip this into support and you go, okay? A little bit more bullish version of that is you go all the way to the 8A6, okay? You come down, bullish retest of the golden pocket, and you flip the 7.5, 7A6 into support, right? But you need one of those scenarios, correct? So so basically, the book says don't move your stop loss to break even until you break that high, okay? The next step behind that, which would be a little bit more cautionary, would be something like, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and bet that it's going to be able to do this. So once it hits 7.5, even before it breaks the structure, I'm going to go ahead and move my stop loss to break even, because once it hits 7.5, I really don't want it to pull back behind 0.5. I definitely don't want it to close below 382. So I'll put my stop loss right here. But you see how once you kind of understand, based off of if you're playing with profits, if you're up big or down big, you can kind of manage. So let's say, for example, you've been taking loss after loss after loss all day, all week. I don't think you have the luxury. You can't afford to put your stop loss at lower low right now. You're probably having to do something like this, and you have to concede at, you know, you probably start shaving behind the 382, and you're completely out by 0.5 type of shit, and start realizing and collecting some of your money back. So that's why I always want to make sure you know what basic strategy is, and you know what the probabilities are in terms of Fibonacci and what you need to see from a bullish standpoint. Okay? But you should still be able to, you know, be self-aware if you're up or down, and kind of realize some profits accordingly. Okay, do you care about DOJ selling all the BTC? Nope. Steve says, so now it can go to break even. Why don't you try it, you know, hundreds of times and see what works out for you? My answer would be, if you can put together and understand the risk reward profile, you know, before you go into a trade. Obviously, when you're in a trade, you're still doing the risk reward profile, but it's with unrealized profits. And so, yeah, I mean, as long as you can figure out and you're comfortable with the risk that you might be taking for the reward that you're chasing after, then I'm good. You know, my job is to kind of take you to that point, and then you can figure out if that risk reward is good enough. Okay. Kisorek says, yeah, I'm kind of stressed about getting got. If you get got, you get got. Maybe your position size or leverage is a little bit too big. I'm not going to lie. My shit is a little bit too big too, man. It's crazy because 500 aggregate Bitcoin position means that every $100 my P&L across all, like in total, it moves $50,000. Every $100. So when this motherfucker moves from 94.3 to 94.4, that $100 is a $50,000 swing for me. So even I'm like, this is probably a little, like, I don't know if I should have done this right before I go to sleep. You know, I always risk 1% of portfolio per stop loss. Okay. Yeah. But anyways, you're afraid of what? Getting stopped out on your long and getting left at the train station? Please don't tell me that's what you're afraid of. Because who gives a shit, my boy? You know that's exactly what you can't be afraid of. You know that, right? So look, we're both going to get stopped out and left behind at the train station, okay? I've got a fat ass blunt and we'll just, go to the back, where they keep the recycling bins, and we'll spark it up and we'll wait for the next one. You heard? Don't talk to me about you're stressed that you might get got, okay? We mathin' or what, man? I mean, you know exactly where your stop loss is right now, right? Assuming that you don't move it into stop loss and break even. In the general grand scheme of things, every long attempt, your stop loss is this, right? Now, like we were just talking about, you can start to freestyle when you want to move it up. You know that from a purely mathematical standpoint, you got to turn golden pocket into support via 7.5, 8.6, whatever. And really, that doesn't even indicate bullishness. What does turning golden pocket indicate, chat? It increases your chances, not guarantees, it increases your chances of making a higher high. You need to make a higher high in order to turn VWAP into support. And that's what you really fucking need to do. So it's domino pieces, one after another, that starts to increases the probabilities that our long might work. That's it. But there's never a certainty, ladies and gentlemen. Some people are going to try to long a bullish retest of the VWAP getting turned into support. Okay, Kisorek says, yeah, my stop losses aren't quite by the book. I try to find when my scenario that I want gets less probable as soon as possible. Okay, I like it. I mean, that in concept sounds amazing. So, all right, Kisorek, any other questions?